never ever underestimate how well influencers know their audience and that they know what resonates. So yes, there'll be an overarching creative brief and direction, but allow them to have creativity and to feed in so that that content works first and foremost on their channels. We are seeing a massive shift when it comes to brands on social. It used to be about the vanity metrics. How many followers can you have on your social? Is it 100,000, 500,000, a million? And now it is very much around community. It's feeling part of something bigger. It's making your audience want to be there, to follow the story, to follow the journey. Anyone can have the biggest number. And yes, you can look at engagement rates, you can look at click-through rates, you can look at view rates, but it's really thinking like, why are they here? And what are they gonna get from following and being part of your brand's community? It needs to be a two-way exchange. There needs to be value for them in your brand. The loyalty of a brand has significantly changed and shifted, and that sparks this huge opportunity to build and foster and develop a community. There's amazing examples where you've got New Muse Literacy Club, or you've got New Balance, who have really looked at the insight and data around when they want to engage younger audiences. How are younger audiences showing up and engaging? So when it does come to sport, when it comes to running, there's 29% increase generationally from millennials to Gen Z. Gen Z want to train together. So that became the opportunity for New Balance. They wanted to create a community. So globally, it's been rolled out across multiple markets. New Balance brings people together to run. You get to experience the product, but you get to make friends and build and foster these relationships through being part of the New Balance community. Same as Refi. Refi have really taken what it means to build a community, to reward and incentivize people for being part of that community. That then also means they get an increase in content, an increase in coverage, because people feel so much closer to those businesses and naturally want to share and talk about the experiences that they've had as well. Creators are becoming CEOs, and it's this massive shift with influencers becoming the expert, really understanding their lane, their knowledge, and giving a whole different wealth of brands that can come in and to play in those spaces. So you look at Mr. Beast, 400 million subscribers on YouTube, but Feastables, his chocolate business, actually drives more revenue for him on a personal level. You've got people like Grace Beverley, who has built a portfolio essentially of businesses that all align to her community, to their wants and their needs. And what's really interesting with these creators becoming CEOs, launching businesses, they are one, diversifying their portfolio, they're diversifying their revenue streams, they are driving longevity for where and what they become in the future outside of needing to be on social platforms. And they're owning more of their audience, they're owning more of their data. And it also gives an opportunity for other brands to start playing and showing up in that space. Grace Beverley's partnership with Revolut is a brilliant example where she is inspiring a new generation of entrepreneurs, of people who want to go freelance, consult, or set their own businesses, and making sure that Revolut is part of that conversation only amplifies their message, only amplifies their USP. And again, their whole focus is, how do I attract and engage younger audiences? It's through people that they are aspired to, people that they want to have their own podcast, they want to have their own fitness brand. And so from a brand's perspective, it's really understanding when you're identifying the influencers that you want to work with, what is their story that you can work as an extension to? And also remember that they have other platforms, other touch points outside of their social platforms, whether that is a podcast, whether that is a CRM database. And actually you might not play in the most traditional sense of X amount of TikToks, a YouTube ad roll. You actually might want to think about their other touch points and where they show up for their audience. There are so many common mistakes that brands make when it comes to influencer marketing. One of the really simple ones is understanding why you want to work with influencers in the first place. And you do not know what good looks like unless you've clearly set out success metrics up front. And that helps you to understand like who you're working with. If you are a female UK business, then you need to make sure that the audience of every influencer that you're working with replicates where your business and your brand and your customers are and can be. There's nothing more frustrating from an end customer perspective if they're seeing something over in the US, in Brazil, and they actually can't click to purchase or to buy, but they've really brought into the story and the narrative from the influencer that they know and that they trust. So for me, it's very much like understand what good looks like, interrogate the data, like make sure you are marketing to the right audience, and make sure that you have asked or used a third party to pull that data beforehand. If you're a business that really wants to prove ROI, then ask for previous case studies, look at their swipe up data, look at your existing data, and look at what a good cost per click, a good click-through rate is, and make sure that what you've seen previously from those influencers, insight and data marries up to the results that you want to see and expect. Also helps you to negotiate. And I think another really important one is brands obviously have their guidelines, this is how we want to bring our campaign to life and this is how we target. But never ever underestimate how well influencers know their audience and that they know what resonates. So yes, there'll be an overarching creative brief and direction, but allow them to have creativity and to feed in so that that content works first and foremost on their channels. We are very much in this wave of building your personal brand. I ran an agency for 8 years and I got 75% of my leads through LinkedIn, and the rest were also through like profiles, speaking at events, speaking at gigs, being on Sky News, BBC Breakfast. That always built in a pipeline that we could then grow our business with. And increasingly, we're obviously seeing founders of businesses build their PR, build their audience, and that is why it is about growth, it is about sales. And what you have to always remember if you are a founder running the business is there is a differentiation. There is you as a person and there is you as a business. And it's knowing when to comment on which from which platform, but you need to be able to scale the business without you at some point as well. If your end goal is to sell your company, to sell your business, that might mean that you're around on an earn out. It might be that you completely disappear. You have to make sure that that product lives past you. A very extreme example, because obviously a hero celebrity, but obviously Hailey Bieber just sold Rogue Beauty for $1 billion. And the reason why that works is that brand lived and breathed without her. She's still going on for part of the journey. So I think it's 200 mil is in her earn out that her and the wider team can still, hit and take away based on the KPIs and the targets that they hit. But by going and partnering with Elf, she's allowing that business to scale. She's taking away a lot of the burns and pains and exhaustion that comes with running a business. So she will still be promoting it, but infrastructure, operations runs almost better when she is not in that business day to day. I have failed more times than I can possibly even begin to imagine. And I've always said that failing is better than everything going to plan and succeeding, because it's when you fail that you really understand. You might understand your customers better. You might understand your business proposition. You might understand the gap in the market and why you're there and what you're filling. So failure is a great thing. And I think that is so important to reiterate. But on a really deeply personal level, one of the biggest failures I had is I was selling my old agency, and for various reasons, falling pregnant probably being the main one, my deal didn't go through. And at the time, I really carried this weight where I was like, I am the person that was unable to sell a business and felt like I had failure written all over me. And in actual fact, it was 100% the right thing. It was the right thing for me. It was the right thing for the business. It meant that as a mum, I could be far more present than if I had sold to a PE-backed business. I would have not been present. I would have not been around, but it also enabled me to make sure that that business operated, scaled without me, so that I had the ability to sell and exit fully rather than going into an earn-out. And based on like my personal needs, my family's needs, it was absolutely like the right thing at the right time for that deal to not fall through. And in that process, I learned so much. So there are so many things that if I was to sell a business again in the future, I'm helping other businesses to exit. The first one is going through at the moment, and there is so much knowledge that I have just picked up on through going through that brutal process for 18 months on my own. Regardless of what it is that I am talking about, whether that's growing your business through content, whether that is launching a TikTok strategy, working with influencers, selling a business, everything I do, I want to be actionable. I want you to be able to feel like you can leave a talk that I have given and go and implement change and be able to act. It's not, making things more confusing. I'm trying to make